Assalamu alaikum and hi viewers, this is Sajad Hussain and you are watching my YouTube channel. Viewers, today we are going to discuss part 2 of the poem Valediction Forbidding Mourning by John Donne. In the first part, I discussed with you the first four stanzas in which the speaker, who is presumably the poet himself, tries to show sublimity and exaltation and purification of his love, and he calls his love supreme to all the love that is experienced by sublunary lovers. Now, in the fifth stanza, he further elaborates the idea and he says, but we by a love so much refined that ourselves know not what it is. He is of the view that their love is so much refined and it is so much sophisticated and it is so much exalted that they themselves are not aware of the exact nature or true nature of their love. Now, this is called mysticism, and mysticism has always an element of secrecy and it has always an element of mystery. So, the speaker tries to give this mystic significance to their love, and he says, enter assured of the mind that is their love is not based on physical attraction or physical charm, and it does not involve body parts. Rather, it is the love that is based on the mingling of their minds, mixing of their minds. Their minds are unified and their minds are together. So, this is what makes their love above the love that is experienced by common lovers. Care less eyes, lips, and hands to miss. Now, in this love, there is no involvement of the body parts like eyes and lips and hands. Now, eyes and lips and hands, these are the parts of the body, and these suggest the body of the lovers. Now, in literature, this is a literary device which is called Synecdoche, Synecdoche. Synecdoche. It is a device in which a part is related to the whole or whole is related to the part. For instance, if you have an example, the heads were lying in the battlefield. Now, this means that the dead bodies were lying in the battlefield. So, head symbolizes or it refers to the entire body. And you might have heard the White House says. Now, the White House says means the spokesman of the White House says. So, the whole refers to the part, and in Synecdoche, the part refers to the whole. Now, the next stanza, our two souls, therefore, which are one, though I must go, endure not yet a breach, but an expansion, like gold to airy thinness beat. Another conceit, another metaphor has been employed by the poet. He is of the view that their love is like pure gold. It is as precious as gold is, and gold is a metal that is malleable and that can be converted into thin sheets. And this is what this is what the poet suggests, that their love is like gold. It can be expanded and it can be thinned and it can be converted into thin sheets like gold, but this expansion would not result in increasing the distance. Now, this is paradox. On the one hand, the poet compares his love with the expansion of a gold sheet, and on the other hand, he is of the view that besides this increased distance, their hearts are going to be the same, and this physical distance is not going to affect or influence their love. So this is called paradox. What is paradox? In paradox, two contradictory and two opposite ideas are presented side by side. Now, apparently, it seems to be quite confusing. However, when we read between the lines, we find out the real meaning. Now, in the last three stanzas, the metaphor or the conceit of compasses has been employed by the speaker, and this is what makes this poem quite unique, and this is what makes this poem highly popular. We can say that it is because of this metaphor that the poem has got iconic significance, and it can be called, this conceit of compasses can be called the trademark conceit employed by John Donne. So he says that their love is like twin compasses, and if you can see this compass that I have with me, it has two ends. One is this fixed end, and the other is this moving end, right? So this fixed end remains at one place, and this moving end, it can be adjusted according to the requirement. So he says, if they be two, they are two, so as stiff twin compasses are two, right? Thy soul the fixed foot, this is the fixed foot, right? So the soul of the beloved is like the fixed foot of the compass, makes no show to move, and it does not move because it remains fixed, it remains at one place, but doth if the other two. But when this moving part or this moving end has to move, this fixed foot also moves. For example, if we have to move it like this, now this also moves, and though it is in the center, it in the center sit, this fixed end sits in the center, yet when the other far doth roam, this one, the moving part, doth means does, roam means wander or move, it leans and hearkens after it. Now this fixed end leans means bends, and hearkens means follows this moving part, and grows erect as that comes home. Now when this moving part comes home means when it returns home like this, this becomes erect, and when this moving part is roaming, now this fixed end has to follow and has to lean in order to create a sense of balance like this. Such wilt thou be to me. Now the speaker is of the view that this love is like the two ends of a compass, and the beloved is like that fixed end, and he is like that moving end, who must like the other foot obliquely run. Obliquely means slantly, not straight. Thy firmness makes my circle just. Now if this fixed end is firm, and if this fixed end is firm and it is rooted to the place, then the circle becomes just, then the circle becomes correct and makes me end where I began. And if this fixed end remains rooted to the place, the moving end makes the circle, and ultimately it returns to join this fixed end. So this is how this metaphor has been employed by the speaker, by the poet. Now if we look at the stylistic aspects of the poem, we find out that there is iambic tetrameter that has been employed by the poet, and the rhyme scheme in the entire poem is ABAB. So the rhyme scheme is ABAB, and iambic tetrameter has been employed. We also find out that there is an apostrophe that has been employed. Apostrophe, now what is apostrophe? In apostrophe we find out that some of the letters in the word are not pronounced and there is elision. For example, instead of putting I here, it is missing. Instead of saying it were, the twere, I is missing. So that is an example of apostrophe. And if we look at these first two stanzas, we find out that the second stanza becomes complete in its meaning when we read it with the first stanza. So the first stanza runs into the second stanza for the completion of its meaning, and that is called Enjabment. We find out that there is alliteration like lovers, love, and there is consonance as well. What is consonance? Consonance is the repetition of consonant sounds in the words. And we have already discussed that Synecdoche is there, paradox is there, and metaphors are there, and conceits are there. So this poem is somewhat philosophical and somewhat difficult to read and comprehend because of a variety of metaphors and conceits that have been employed, yet it is rich in meaning and it is one of the best loved love poems ever written. Viewers, hope you comprehended the poem. Keep watching, keep following. Thank you very much.